is a type of medicine that trains your body to fight any foreign agents.
Plants are helpful for the ecosystem.
It's an electronic device for storing and processing data.
The nervous system is all the collection of nerves in your body.
Yeast is a eukaryote.
Welcome to Spectacular Science, where it's all about science, with your host, Akshay.
Hey listeners, welcome back to this episode of Spectacular Science. I'm your host, Akshay. What is the toughest animal on Earth? Well, you may think it's a cheetah or a blue whale, but really, you have to think very small. I'm talking microscopic. That's right, it's the tardigrade. The tardigrade is a very microscopic organism, but it's also the toughest organism on Earth. They can survive extreme temperatures and extreme climates and are the first animal to survive in space without a space capsule or anything. They're able to do this because they have amazing superpowers that they've adapted in order to do this. And in this episode, I'm going to take you on a deep dive into the science of tardigrades and how they are the toughest animals on Earth and even outer space. So first of all, what are tardigrades? Well, they can be boiled, baked, deep froze, or even crushed or dehydrated, or even blast them into space. It doesn't matter, but these 8-legged aquatic animals may be small, but they're nearly indestructible. In fact, these invertebrates are so tiny that you need a microscope to be able to see them. Despite being smaller than a poppy seed, tardigrades look pretty fierce when you view them up close. They have claws like bears and dagger-like teeth that tear into and suck all the nutrients out of moss and algae. They've been nicknamed water bears for their resemblance to the furry predators. Tardigrades can be found almost anywhere on Earth, from the top of the Himalaya mountain range to the bottom of the sea, from icy Antarctica to bubbling hot springs. The teeny tiny creatures can survive extreme temperatures, ranging from minus 328 degrees up to 304 degrees Fahrenheit. Tardigrades need only a drop of water to thrive. No water? Well, that's no problem for the tardigrade. They'll curl up into a dry ball called a tun, and their body systems will slow down so much that they're almost, but not quite, dead. The tiny animals can survive like this for decades, and scientists call this an extreme type of hibernation. When they're re-exposed to water, the tardigrades can come back to life in just a few hours. Once dried moss that has been in a museum for over 100 years was moistened, tardigrades inside the moss came crawling out, totally fine. They spend most of their time snacking on plants and bacteria. They have to be careful though. Although tardigrades can survive extreme conditions, they still have predators. A kind of worm called nematodes, amoebas, and even other tardigrades prey on each other. And tardigrades have not only survived on Earth, but they've even survived the radiation and vacuum of space. The vacuum of space means there's no air, and their freezing temperatures are really, really intense. In 2007, scientists placed the tiny little animals into a satellite and shot them up into space, where they floated in their special containers 167 miles above sea level for 10 days before plummeting back down to Earth. And upon inspection of the water bears, they were all okay, and they had survived radiation blasts 700 times stronger than the sun's rays on Earth. Tardigrades are helping scientists rethink what they know about what it takes to survive extreme conditions, and they're trying to take this into inspiration for maybe humans so that they can survive in these extreme conditions. Did you know that tardigrades have been around on Earth for more than 600 million years? about 400 million years before the dinosaurs were even existent. And tardigrades are sometimes called moss piglets because of their nose, and it looks like a pig's nose. Tardigrade eggs take between 40 and 90 days to hatch. Tardigrades are truly amazing creatures, and they have these superpowers that make them so special. Now, how are they able to do this? Well, it's all because they're able to curl up into that ball called the ton, and that actually helps them survive. It's just really cool that these tiny organisms that many people even haven't even heard of or haven't even seen with their own eyes, that these organisms are considered the toughest and the strongest animals because they're able to survive any condition. Literally any condition. If you wanted to survive out in outer space, it can survive in that too. If you want it to survive in cold or hot temperatures, it can do that too. They're a type of organism called extremophiles. Usually that consists of microbes or tiny little microorganisms like bacteria and fungi. But tardigrades are actual living and breathing animals that can move around, and they are considered one of these extremophiles. They can basically live anywhere on Earth without being harmed. It is just amazing. Just think about it. And these tardigrades can help scientists as well discover new ways to keep humans safe on Earth and in space. That's why tardigrades are sent up into space, because they're great test subjects. And maybe in the future we could have some technology like tardigrades that could actually help us maybe survive on Mars and any of all those planets. There's so many possibilities. And I'm actually going to go come up with some ideas in my lab. But before I go, what did we learn today? We learned that tardigrades are the toughest animals on Earth. And they're able to do this because these tiny little organisms, also called water bears, are able to withstand all of these things, and they're able to go into some sort of hibernation where their organs all slow down, and they're able to survive in this state for many years, and this basically preserves them. And tardigrades have even been into space and have been exposed to radiation and dehydration, but they're still able to survive. Scientists are using this info to help make new spacesuits and to help make new technology that might actually help to protect humans from all these harmful things like dehydration, and even go to space and live on Mars from all that radiation. It'll actually help them protect humans and astronauts from it. Tardigrades are truly amazing, but very tiny creatures. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Spectacular Science. Spectacular Science produced and hosted by me, Akshay J. Raman. Our theme song is by Charan Ramachandran. Special thanks to Varun Ramachandran. Please visit my podcast website, spectacularsci.com, to find interactive activities, blog posts, articles, and all of our episodes. You can also find the link to sign up for the Spectacular Science membership, where you get lots of bonus content to keep you thinking about science. My favorite of those is the fact of the day, when you get a fun science fact every day. Sign up at spectacularsci.com/membership. Please follow or subscribe to this show on any podcasting platform or wherever you're listening right now. It really encourages me when you subscribe, and it means a lot. Thank you so much. I always love hearing from my listeners about science, and I just love interacting with my listeners. So please contact me at spectacularsci.com/contact or email me using the link posted on the page. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and we'll see you on the next episode of Spectacular Science next week. Keep thinking about science.